How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about the great thing that has happened in the House. They have passed the National Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act. That is a great thing, but you couldn't really tell that from looking at this headline here that's on the screen before you, which reads, no matter how they dress it up, the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act is really bad policy. Now, the reason why I have this article up is because it's negative. You can already tell they're going to be anti-gun. And I want to be able to go through this and pick it apart piece by piece to give my opinion about what they're talking about here and to explain to you why this act is really good, although the editorial board of the LA Times, say it's bad. Now, if you're not watching this, if you're just listening to me through your headphones or whatever, there's a picture underneath the headline of some small handguns. And underneath that, the subhead says, guns line the walls of the firearms reference collection at the Washington Metropolitan Police Department headquarters in Washington on September 28, 2007. So just a random picture, nothing really special. And then the article states, as soon as Friday, House of Representatives is expected to take up a spectacularly stupid and dangerous piece of legislation intended to undercut the right of states to determine what qualifications a person must meet before being allowed to carry a concealed firearm. Now, this right here is just fantastically rich. You got these liberals, obviously, they're anti-gun, like super anti-gun. You could tell that that's what it is. All of a sudden, they now are for states' rights. You know, it wouldn't surprise me if I was to go on LA Times and see something against the Electoral College, you know, which is like a national kind of thing to represent all states fairly. I wouldn't be surprised if they were against that because Hillary Clinton lost. It seems like they just pick up whatever kind of ideology best suits them at a particular point in time. But I digress. Let's get back to the article. That the measure has now been cynically wedded to a proposal to toughen up reporting of people ineligible to own firearms shouldn't distract from the fundamental awfulness of the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act of 2017, which the NRA, no surprise, has made a legislative priority. Now, let's talk about the first part of that sentence. The toughening up reporting of people who should not own firearms, that comes as a result, in my opinion, because of the Texas church shooting. Remember that this guy was in the military and he beat up his wife and his stepson. I think he fractured his stepson's skull. Like it was like a baby or a very small child. For that, when he was in the military, mind you, for that, he got like, I think it was 1 year of confinement, which is a felony. So if you have a felony charge, you are not allowed to own guns. So that should have been reported to the NICS, which is like a database that when you're in the background check, if there's any kind of felony or something like that will prevent you from being able to own a gun, it'll come up and the cell will not be able to go through. I think it was the Air Force, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments below. But whatever branch of military he was in failed to forward the information straight to the NICS. Therefore, he was able to legally buy a gun and then go on the mass shooting. But if the information would have been relayed properly, he would not have been able to do that. However, let's not forget that most of the crimes in the United States, most of the shootings happen on the street, most of those happen with unlawfully obtained guns, you know, illegal from different countries, stolen from people's houses. That's how that usually works. Guns that are sold on the street that have been stolen from somewhere else. The whole thing that Obama was talking about, saying that in Illinois and Chicago, they can go to Indiana and buy guns in the store and then pull up in the van to the hood and sell them in the street. That's just preposterous, because why would you go buy guns new from the store lawfully in your name and then go sell them on the street? It makes no sense, because that could all be traced back to you. The serial numbers, the bullet ballistics, all can be linked back to you. And then if you're selling it on the street, when you bought it from the store legally, what's going to happen is you're going to end up losing money from the exchange. So why would you do that? It does not make any sense. But let's get back to the article. This outrageous bill should never have made it out of committee. But now that it is moving to the floor, there will be only a few more opportunities to stop it. Well, hey, hopefully it does not get stopped. Hopefully it goes all the way through, because that's what I want right now. While federal law establishes broad gun control policy, states set the rules under which people may carry concealed firearms. Some states like California set the bar high, way too high, which is going to cause a lot of issues, which has already caused a lot of issues. People are not able to protect themselves. And when I say people, I mean the law-abiding citizens who follow the rules. Okay, they can't protect themselves, but your criminals, your gangbangers, the thugs, they do whatever they want to do. So while they have the guns, you don't. So you're at disadvantage. You want to call the police and have them come to protect you. But I mean, they can't be there with you 24/7. A lot of celebrities, they don't understand that because they're in the ivory tower. They have their armed bodyguards. They're with them 24/7, right? But the average person does not have the ability to be able to do that. So why be against the average person being able to protect themselves lawfully with a concealed carry firearm? The main thing should be lawful versus unlawful. But I'll move on. Sheriffs or police here in California may issue concealed carry permits only to legally eligible people who make a strong case for why they need to carry a firearm, such as those whose business involves carrying large amounts of cash. So basically, if you have money you need to protect, then no, that's a good reason why you got to have a firearm. But if you got kids you want to protect, human beings that you want to protect, flesh and blood people that you want to protect, oh, nah, you don't need that. Unreal. Neighboring Arizona, on the other hand, issues concealed carry permits to anyone legally allowed to own a gun who is taking a gun safety course. I don't see nothing wrong with that. Under the proposed reciprocity law, anyone with a valid permit from another state will be able to carry a concealed firearm in California, even if they do not meet California's more stringent standards. This is a highly objectionable infringement on the responsibilities of state and local law enforcement to maintain public safety, and is clearly aimed at undermining gun control efforts nationally. Well, look, I mean, when you're talking about safety, what's more safe than somebody that has taken the gun course, understands how to use guns, and is able to protect themselves? Are they more safe in their own personal space or less safe? And you tell me. So if the object is safety, then what are we talking about? Back to the article. What's more, it will put guns into the hands of more people who shouldn't have them. Or is that right? How you know that? While the measure has strong support among members of Congress happy to do the gun lobby's bidding, those who back gun control rightly oppose it, and all things be equal, would stand a good chance of killing the bill. Some pro-gun members of the House decided to sweeten the pot by merging reciprocity bill with the bipartisan Fix NICS Act, which was introduced after last month's Sutherland Springs, Texas shooting. That's what I talked about earlier, that church shooting where the gun should not have had the gun because he had the felony charge. It didn't get reported to the NICS. Therefore, he was able to buy the gun. The gunman, a former Air Force service member, was able to buy firearms because the Air Force failed to report his court-martial on domestic violence charges, making him ineligible to own a gun, to the National Instant Criminal Background Check System, NICS. Fix NICS would reinforce existing reporting requirements and make grant money available to help agencies improve their reporting processes. It's a small step forward, but not nearly enough to overcome the awfulness of the Reciprocity Act, which must be stopped. Why must it be stopped? I don't understand the logic behind it. Nobody's been able to give me a real reason why gun control is a good thing. You're talking about places that have the strongest gun control is the most dangerous places. People are the least safe. So I don't understand how that's going to help. The only thing you can really do when you're talking about gun control is to like banish guns from society, like have some magical wizard come down with a wand and just make all the guns disappear, make all the means of being able to manufacture guns, both in the home, out of home, wherever, make all those means go away. And then maybe you will have less gun violence. So long as the bills are connected, this small step forward must die to avoid a major step backward. Okay. Oh, man. I don't understand what's the point. Like, my thing is this. What's the point of trying to fight these fights? Why fight against the Concealed Carry Reciprocity Act? I don't understand. It's a lawful thing. You got to go through a gun safety course. You got to have a license. They know who you are. Like, they could pretty much track you. I don't see the big deal. Really, you should be able to conceal carry with no license. You know, some people would say you should be able to conceal carry a fully automatic. I think that these anti-gun liberals don't even understand really what's going on in most of America. They live in their cocoons, they live in their bubbles, and they never exit. So they don't really understand how life is. I saw a story recently of a guy in Philadelphia, 81-year-old man who had got home invaded and was able to protect himself away from the robbers. He could have, like, really, 81 years old, home invasion in Philly, you probably would be dead if you did not have your gun. You know, it was something else. I think it was in the McDonald's or some fast food restaurant. And I'll place the links for these stories in the description box below. But it was a robbery inside the actual fast food joint where the guy pulled out the pistol. I think he waved it at a child, and the guy was able to be put down by somebody who was able to be concealed carry. Right. So stories like this go severely underreported. Nobody really cares about it. And people like the people who wrote this article here, the editorial board or whatever from the LA Times, they don't see those stories. Or if they do see them, they say, oh, well, it's just, you know, 1 in a million, is that, and a third. So does their life not matter because it's not that common? And how do you know it's not that common? It's all kind of crimes happen every day where a person needs to protect themselves away from a criminal. We have a crime problem in the country. We got drugs going out of control. We got gangs going out of control. There's a crime issue here. So you should be able to protect yourself. You shouldn't have to go to Raleigh, North Carolina when you live in Virginia Beach to go to the Outer Banks with your concealed carry. It doesn't make any sense. You should be able to travel back and forth and feel like you're safe and not have to be worried about, okay, am I going to have to, you know, I can't conceal carry anymore. I'm losing a layer of safety here. You should be able to have this nationwide. And I salute the House for being able to have a bipartisan decision, because this is what this was. The left wanted stronger background checks. The right wanted more ability to be able to have your guns concealed. So they come together and make a bipartisan decision. Some on the left would not want what the right has and vice versa. But like I said, coming together to make a decision, I can't really fault anybody for that. And I think that people should look to this as the way we're going to go forward into the future. Is give and take is compromise. As long as the nation kind of falls within the center a little bit, a happy medium center, I think we'll be okay. So what do you think? Do you think national concealed carry reciprocity is a good thing? Should you be able to have your permit in Virginia and then go to New York and it not really be a problem? Should you be able to go into California and not be a real problem? How do you feel about gun control in general? I would like to know an example of when gun control has actually been of any kind of assistance. California, Illinois. I mean, you're talking about some of the most dangerous places in the country. I mean, how is gun control actually helping? People talk about Japan and UK, but those are different places, different societies. You know, UK is an island nation. By itself, it's difficult to get over there, but United States is much bigger, much more diverse when you're talking about geographically, ethnically, bigger population, a lot of countries that have a border. Like you got a southern border. There's a lot of countries right there that can come through that way. Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, and then the Panama Canal. You can come through South America. It's a whole different game over here. And Japan, again, another island nation, much different kind of people. They have a very low murder rate, but they have a very high suicide rate. See, their society is different than ours, so it's hard to compare us to them. It's like when we get compared to countries like Portugal and Sweden, it's like, look, we're not Portugal. Portugal has like 10 million people at most. Same thing with Sweden, probably a lot less than that. So why compare us to them? They're very small, largely homogenous societies, especially the Nordic countries, the very cold places. They're not like the United States. So let's keep the eye on the prize. Look at what's going to help our country the best. Put America first. And that should mean not only in what's going to help us to go forward into the future, but just in regular everyday living right now in the present. But that's pretty much all I got. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.